goal of teaching is to ensure that knowledge is passed on to the next generation of humans. Primarily, it is a reflection of what we value as a species. We teach our learners the skills and knowledge needed to function in our society. As we progress as a species, our means to communicate becomes more complex and thus require more and more complex sets of skills. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good wellness, generalist. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I will be discussing the goals of the K-12 curriculum. But before anything else, allow me to introduce our learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, the students can formulate ways activities to teach each of the competencies of the communicative competence framework. Identify ways multiliteracy approach help teachers instill communicative competence to learners in early grades. And identify the challenges in teaching communicative competence and propose possible ways to improve teaching English to the learners. The K-12 English curriculum and the desired outcome. As a language curriculum, the K-12 English curriculum focuses on more than just instilling the capacities to use language to the learners. Beyond teaching the conventions, principles, or skills, it also looks into the needs of the learners of the language, being a learner-centered curriculum. It aims to create learners with skills in the following: interpersonal communication, understanding and learning content from other learning areas, and academic independence. Meaning, in English curriculum of K-12 programs, it aims that the students will be English speaking at the end of their course or career as a student. English language is the focus of the K-12 curriculum programs, which is expected for the learners to have this kind of skills. Since the K-12 centered of the program are the students, they are aiming that in the future, students will be good in English language in any forms of communication. Just like what I have mentioned a while ago, in interpersonal communication, meaning between two or more people, exchanging ideas and thoughts between two or more people, understanding and learning content from the other language areas, meaning when the learners are English literate, there is a chance to understand other languages since the English language is for worldwide usage of communication. And lastly, academic independence, free to have any actions using English speaking. Communicative competence is composed several other competences stipulated in the communicative competence framework from the work of Canale and Swain, 1980. We have communicative competencies, work by Canale and Swain 1980. This will be the guidelines for the students to develop their skills. This competency will be fruitful for the students at the same time to their future career. Grammatical linguistic competence, the number one competence. This refers to grammar, lexicon, phonology, sounds created to make words, morphology, creation of smallest units of meaning, and syntax, combination of words and phrases to form sentence, among others. In short, as an English speaker, we must know the rules of the language, and then proper usage of each rule. Grammatical error will be strictly observed. In observing grammatical error, and at the same time, to apply the competencies of grammatical or linguistic terms, one must be in trial, meaning students may take an exam or test for it. Like for example, in giving an essay type of exam, speech writing, impromptu, and many others. To check the essay writing of the students, we have to make a criterion to grade their work. Not only essay writing will be having a criterion, it may be applied to any forms of evaluation that has an explanation apart. Like for instance, in grading a essay type of exam, for our criteria, for the organization of thoughts, we have 5 points. For the grammar, we have 5 points and a total of 10 points. The number 2 competencies is social linguistic competence. To be a more effective communicator, one has to have knowledge of this sociocultural use of language. Sociolinguistic competence refers to the knowledge of the appropriateness of the language to be used in particular situation. Formal, friendly, courteous, sarcastic, and etc. And the appropriate responses to this situation. This competency will happen in a particular situation. Grammatical rules are not enough for the students can learn from. Language speaker must be known how to use words that is appropriate to their fellow men or the one who she or he spoke. It is necessary for the students to master the cultural rules to be used or where it can be played on. On the other hand, sociolinguistic competence is your ability to utilize language that is appropriate and or applicable in social context. Like for instance, role-playing, speech, debate, interview, and many others. Those are the experiences that involve socialization skills and it developed through your sociolinguistic manner. The third one is discourse competence, being able to comprehend and produce oral and or written text in various modes of communication. Speaking, listening, and reading, writing is the focus of discourse competence, meaning your comprehension will be tested in this competency. Your ability to communicate and have understanding about what you have been communicating. What will be the focus of this? The speaking skills of yours, in order for that, you understand what you have spoken. Listening, of course, the way you talk. At the same time, you listen to yourself and listen to another oneself. Reading and writing at the same manner. For instance, a type of discussion which is the focus group discussion or the so-called FGD. That is the best example of it. Considering that your speaking and listening skills will be included, your reading and writing will also include. Therefore, this competency is very fruitful to any one of us. The fourth one is strategic competence. Strategic competence enables a speaker to keep the communication channel open through the use of various strategies, including request for clarification, repetition, slowing down of speech, or the use of hand or facial gesture. And for the last goals will be the strategic competence, meaning your ability to determine those words that are not totally clear with you. Knowledge have been throwing, but there is some distraction and factors about your understanding. This competency will let you cover up the challenges or the factor as well as the distractions. The best example of this competency are the following: poem, debate, declamation, and many others. There is a lot of distraction while you are performing this, but as a performer, we have to apply strategy that can break down the distractions. Like for instance, in a poem. Because I am a performer of this category, since when I was in junior high school, focus and self-confidence will be the best strategy to do while performing. Total mastery of the script must be practiced and it should not be forgotten. At last, it's depending upon on the performer on how they cope up the challenges. In fact, we have difference of learning and way of learning. Refer to your learning module generalist. We have a matrix math of communicative competence. At the same time, a theory that is developed by Canale and Swain 1980. The matrix, I think, will be the summary of the competency of goals or goals of K-12 curriculum. At the center, we have the communicative competence, and on the green box, we have the target skills of the grammatical or linguistic competence. It's all about organizing ideas into a certain point. On the blue box, we have sociolinguistic competence. Its focus are the socialization skills of the learners, at the same time, the proper usage of the social language. On the orange box, we have strategic competence. Its focus is the strategy of the learners in overcoming the factors or distractions. While on the yellow box, we have discourse competence, and its focus was the comprehension of the learners in such ways. Those are the competency of K-12 curriculum. On the other hand, multiliteracy is a term coined in the 1990s by the New London Group, referring to an approach to literacy pedagogy. This is in response to the ever-growing paradigm shift of the education, in encompassing multiple channels of communication and media and the increasing cultural and linguistic diversity. Meaning, multiliteracy was built by the New London Group to address its competency based on the fast development of the curriculum. Multiliteracy addresses to the learning experiences of a learner when they are in the process of learning. Considering that the role of multiliteracy in the making of curriculum are the interpretation of a learner's or a response of the learners to what they see, hear, and speak. Like for instance, in the music, when they hear the music, they have interpretations about it. Likewise, when the learners see something arts or a picture, they formulate such meaning about it through its abstraction ideas. Multiliteracy makes the learners become interactive and well-equipped because of its modernization. It brought such learning that is extraordinary. To look forward about skills and experiences brought by the multiliteracy, especially in the classroom interaction, we have visual literacy, meaning the learning or ideas through visual skills of the learner, its ability to understand what we have presented to them as a teacher. Textual literacy, it refers to individual assimilation of written information such as documentation and many others. Digital literacy is the ability of the learners to explore digital world to have additional information aside from what we have given in the classroom or what they have gained in the classroom. There is a lot of roles of the multiliteracy in response to the ever-growing paradigm of curriculum. Visit the links below for your further reading or for your deeper understanding about the multiliteracies. In line with this, we have literacy elements that are observable for the learners in nowadays. These elements have impact to every learner, like reading, writing, listening, technology, creativity, talking, and viewing. These elements have great feedback for the learners when they engage themselves on it. Being a 21st century learner, we have to be more productive and creative through learnings, and we have to achieve the competency of K-12 curriculum. On the other hand, literacy elements from commentary on multiliteracies, meaning the different modes of element that is being applied in a certain classroom, like for instance, words, speech or text, audio, sounds, music, and etc. Spatial, placement, buildings or locations, gestures, movements, tactile, touch and feel, and visual, pictures, videos, or colors. For the words, speech, or text, it develops the speaking skills of the learners. For the audio, sounds, music, and etc., the listening skills of the learner. Spatial, the placement, buildings, or location, the learning environment of the students. And the gestures, movements, the way you move, the way you act in a certain classroom. And tactile, touch, and feel, emotions and experiences of the learners. And visual, pictures, videos, or colors, meaning to say what they have seen in the classroom or what you have posted in the classroom. Before I end, ladies and gentlemen, I have one quote here stated by Carl Chung, and it reflects on the curriculum. He said that one looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feelings. The curriculum is much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element of the growing plant and for the soul of the children. I think that's all for today. I hope you learned something about what we have discussed here. To test your own understanding about the lesson, you can check your own understanding by using KWL strategy to answer what I know, what I want to know, and what I learned. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Keep safe to one and all.